14. Fiction. Colours of an appreciation of UNESCO. There is a consciousness being constantly observed due to the nature of truth that expresses. The consciousness being constantly observed due to the nature of truth it expresses is known to you as Dr. Gonzalez Shakespeare. Dr. Gonzalez Shakespeare is observing the consciousness from the perspective of his own consciousness. Has no idea of the following reasons why the following goes on in his mind as he thinks further into life for an evening, a night, and an early morning full of writing experiments, for the simple reason being the fact he drank a lot of coffee. Here lie the thoughts. Space bomb, space freak, expressed by the Greek as the smell of breath due to the taste of horrid leek. And then seconds later, after the Athenian laid a metaphoric wreath in praise of the Hungarian Laszlo Haramari, or if Haramarani is a Hungarian name at all. For what follows is not difficult to follow according to the Greek, who is known simply as Constantine Slotats, who asks you, the reader, if you ever saw machine gun pellets close up and personal. Boom, 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 colon, not being cool in the pagina, colon. Question being posed to you regarding bullet holes if you ranged from the age of 16 to 24, and all that was expected from you at the age of 32. We're sadly asking you about the money art trend of plastic pop, expressed as money art trend. For I am from the era of sellout, song, pre-TV, sellout era. And I can't stand that tripe. And when we ride purple and yellow horses expressed as yeehaw, Goldfinger, there would hardly be too many psychedelics needed when we all got the chance to appreciate Terry Riley at his best and the whole vintage smoke room of the old hashish days of Moroccan black, a bit of slate and a nice bit of squidgy. Colon. But totally unexpected as a personality, colon, to which may I just say, hard work. Gonzalez moves from thoughts to spoken words. The words he repeats are stated as the simple words of the last of his creative thinking. Hard work. It is around this time when he repeats the simple words and he wonders about certain people he can either love or hate, and when he chooses the people he can either love or hate, he always states he never hates his mother, though he would like to reveal to her some truth about what life in the laboratory is like from his position, explaining to her how he would go out of his way to explain how one day he would love to read her poetry regarding our present pain, as well as life, spirituality, science, social science, science fiction, remembrance of war, remembrance of London and politics. If not everything she knew of her mother and father, and the reason for this and the reason for that, and all she would possibly say regarding Sligo Town, and the whole reason it could not be considered a Yeatsian romance again. She'd probably say, in the sunshine it could have been considered simply as one or two streets by a square in Paris. His reply would be, I would have to agree with the Parisian bit. The photo shows Sligo was last year in 1955, and back then it had all the resemblance of Paris, but certainly not in 2025, sown in the art given the sickening nature of oil dye copies of La Ciudad de Gallia done in part of the town of Victoria's ideologies of club in London, Leiden, culture with one toil. The ideologic would be surely Sligo a bit of Celtic given the proximity of Ballymote and all. He would then have had to have read everything about the vicinity regarding Woodmartin, and the big surprise would have been all the talk about the swallows in the Swifts of Cork or York, or about the breed of bird that was stamped on certain margarine packaging. Case study. Hopeful future memoir conversations. He then made the announcement, I don't like the way Lily thinks she can control me. My face looks horrid and my personality is akin to being a kind of bollocksological wanker when I know I can announce to the world. I'm actually sounded on my brother when he was at his most soundest, only I'm not allowed to be sound for reasons unknown to me. What I'm trying to say is I could give you a hug. I mean what is meant by a hug without any sexual connotations behind a hug. It would be a hug presented to you as a respect for your journey through life. He looks to the ground, thinking it all to himself, picturing life as though it were a bed of roses on a hill in a jazz city like Oslo. If I could connect to the sound part of my existence and the sound part of my experience, life would seem worthwhile. I could even chance an arm at swimming in the sea, for all the love of swimming in the sea. He continues to look to the ground, thinking it all to himself, picturing life as it had become. I see different faces all the time. I hardly recognise my own being. When I do the checks in the mirror, my face changes all the time. It seems to be a case of fast forward, slow reverse, slow forward. Placed as a stutter and as an askew. And when the time was right to march right up to the person I hate the most, knowing there is absolutely nobody in the world I hate the most, for I only know about 3,000 people, and the other 8 billion people can be guessed at regarding the way society had developed from here to there, and hardly uniqueness about us all. Every one of us has more than a cell in our body. The soul could be in any one of those cells. He looks from the ground and smiles. We have to smile from day to day, he thinks. It goes with the territory and the laboratory of the life of Dr. Gonzalez Shakespeare. But to describe his place of work, the most careful description would show how both the territory and the laboratory looked like a war site. And he would admit all the ideas of smiling through a war site is generally unheard of, though love can sometimes be discovered. What one experienced the most: pumping heart, sweaty palms, full force adrenaline rush, get the guns to the people in time and dig the trenches, alert, 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 10 minutes news breaks every 8 hours, then we check pulse 14 months later. Watch out, the enemy is approaching. Am I still alive? Gonzalez asks. A voice answers, watch for the poetry to flow, Mr. Astley, while you sip at the best Darjeeling. The whole movement is from Proust to Shostakovich. I learned a lot over the years. I miss both the cat and the dog, and once upon a time I thought about buying a bird. Need I say more? Says the voice, and then presented the following to be savoured. C colon forward slash 29250 view 293222922884374749 you was a judge 919 Richard jury 888-348-3457 9JS would just COVID Costa. It was all about a computer code being added to an atom. A man known as Liam nodded to sleep in a canoe. Gonzalez wished to sleep one day after painting 80 abstracts. Meanwhile, the pace was with the cricketer Ian Botham walking through Kent Fields looking for Catherine Zeta-Jones. He wished to salute to her with Botham presenting her with a glass of champagne. He whispered, the day I was reminded about war, I thought about golf without a mention about a trough. Gonzalez looked sideways. He stared into the sun and walked away, closing his eyelids to observe the phosphorescent light. The observation was violet. He then thought of a connection. He had heard of it before. Dog violet. It was a wonder. And now we're moving on to chapter 14 or 15 soon enough.